Hi, I'm James Davis. I'm a junior from Middletown High School North, and I'm from Middletown, New Jersey. So back in 2012, my community was severely affected by Hurricane Sandy, and I was going to church every day, and we were trying to figure out, hey, what are ways that we can solve these problems of the people that are around us? So we decided to set up food drives and to gather other supplies as well. And it really turned out to be a big success. We did multiple drives, and the biggest thing was that churches all over the country were donating to us in order to help out the community that was around us. So now, fast forward to 2015 when Hurricane Irma hit Florida, and as a church and as a community, we really thought like, hey, there's probably a community that was affected just the way as we were in 2012, why don't we give back to them? So as a church, we decided to host a drive, and we were going to fill up an entire tractor trailer and send it down to another fellow Presbyterian church that was in Florida that was affected by the storm. So what our church did was we set up a large tent, and we had basically a storage area to place all the belongings that had been collected from things like food and writing supplies for schools and a lot of valuables that people need in a time of an issue like that. And what was really convenient was my high school that I go to now, I was in middle school at the time, was right across the street from the church. So I would have things like soccer practices there, or there was a lot of events that were going on. So I would say to my friends, I would be like, hey, before we go to the basketball game, or hey, after soccer practice, why don't we go help the church that I'm a part of and be involved in the community? Because you can get some volunteer hours, and it really makes you feel good about what you're doing, and it gives you a sense of the struggles that, like I said previously about Hurricane Sandy, it gives you the other side of the story of how good it feels to help out somebody else that is going through a hard time in their community. So what we decided to do was we got out there, we set up a tent, we have a large lawn, we set up a tent, and one of the members of our church was a tractor trailer driver. So he offered his services to drive everything down to Florida. So day by day, night by night, I was there. It was really heartwarming because you would hear the experiences of everybody that was coming in and bringing things to you. And they were like, oh, I'm bringing things for my family down in Florida. I hope this goes to help them. And it really feels good a lot because I went through those experiences personally. Like my grandma's house was destroyed by Hurricane Sandy, and I know how those people are feeling. They want the best for their loved ones. And for me to be able to do something so simple as providing food for someone and knowing that that helps them a lot, it really goes a long way. So now we decided to continue this process throughout 2017 and 2018. Now I was in high school, and there was Hurricane Harvey in Texas, and there was the Hurricane Florence, which is in the Carolinas. And what we were doing was we found churches by the Houston area, and we found a church in North Carolina, and we gathered things. I was in high school now. I was able to gather a lot of my friends right after a high school practice. We would go right across the street, and we would be shoving things into this tractor trailer. And Hurricane Harvey was really successful. We got over more than one tractor trailer. The driver had to come back and get a second one. And I learned a lot of valuable things through this because these stories were even more influential. One day my dad came home, and he told me the story of a kid who came while I wasn't there, and he was collecting quarter donations from people. He was just going around collecting quarters, and he said, I hope this goes towards you. This is all I can offer. But the value of that is he offered more than nothing, and that goes a long way because that's a lot. More than nothing is a lot. That's the main point. And what we used with this money, we used it to buy non-perishable goods, and we sent it out to Florence was when he brought that money. Hopefully a natural disaster like this will never occur again, but if it does, we plan on being there to help. From participating in these drives alongside my church, I feel like I gained a lot of leadership skills and communication skills. From showing people how to do things throughout the drives, or communicating with people and learning their stories and how each of these drives has really affected them. Somebody that's younger, that's new to these drive situations, I feel like they could really learn that something is more than nothing. If you take that kid with the quarters as an example, he was giving all that he could, and that really meant a lot to not only me, but to the people that he was giving to. So I'd just like to say thank you to everybody that was involved in the past 6 years in order to make these drives happen, because it's really meant a lot.